And I'm actually going across the buildings too, because I want it all to kind of be mixed together. So I'm covering all the areas that are above the buildings. You see how you can still see the yellow peeking through? I can put in the street sign on the right, the yellow one, and I will use a warmer yellow. It's actually more of an orange. I'll use a cool red, and I'm gonna take advantage of the wide flat brush and just see if I can get that shape. And I'm gonna go like this. So I'm gonna let that sit. Oh, there's actually another one, right? There's a smaller one across the street. That's it in terms of like the kind of orangey yellows that I see. I'm gonna try to tackle the Chinese restaurant awning. So I'm actually gonna start in the middle of the restaurant, like the middle of the corner. And let's see, I'm gonna try to estimate. Above the Chinese restaurant, I'm gonna do one that faces us here. And then there it continues to go down. There's like one long brick until it hits above Deli and Grill, Oasis. Yeah, so I've put that down, and then I'm going to extend it further up the Pinehurst side. And while I still have this yellow ochre on my brush, I might as well fill in a few areas that I can already see, like here. I also notice while I'm doing this building up here, the facade there, I can go a little bit darker and do the building that's just to the left of it. And I want to make that a little darker. So I'm going to add a little bit of burnt sienna. All right, time to go back into the Chinese restaurant awning. Could work for this corner. So I'm using the brush to my advantage here. So I see some greens here. I'm going to go with my trusty Perylene green. Make it pretty diluted. And I'll go back over those later to give it some volume with darker green. There's also the trivium, the edge of the trivium. I didn't actually draw that in earlier. Seeing some faint hints of green here in the asphalt. So I just put in a light wash there, very light wash of green. Another thing I want to do here is try to capture the sidewalk that wraps around the Chinese restaurant. I'm going to use the sidewalk to define the bottom edge of the restaurant, the gates. Now that I have like the base, the brighter base layer down, I can go in and start doing some of these shapes that are in that. I'm going to wipe this off and I'm going to make a very light brown. And it's so faint that when it dries, it'll be almost like imperceptible. But once you see a few of them put together, it'll start to make sense, these vertical shapes. I'm going to start with a base of brown here, and I'm going to make that, I want to make that brown pretty dark. I'm going to add a little bit of indigo, I'm sorry, the Indian throne blue. Yeah, it's pretty dark. Use the edge of my brush to define that. There's a white line there. It's actually pretty dark, all of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover that. Using some negative space to take care of some of these lines for me. I'm not going to worry too much about super accuracy, but there's some framing underneath the awnings, and I'm not actually painting the frames, just leaving white space for them. I'll deal with that later. I'm going to go back in with a little bit darker green, pretty dry brush. There's really bright like LED lights in the laundromat windows. So I'm leaving white space for those. All right, I'm going to try to do some of the cars. Just going to get the rough shape. Actually, yeah, a little bit bigger than I allowed for. That was with a really dry brush. I'm going to do the faint lines here on the sign. A lot of that's going to be covered up anyway. The Art Deco structures, I want to just add a little bit more dimensionality there. I'm going to try my burnt sienna, add a little bit more detail. And I will roughly do the shape. Try to do another car. Very rough to start. Just get the shape down. You can always refine it. Now I'm not even caring what color it is. I just want to get the shapes in, because I'll fill in some of those details in a second. Yeah. So now that I have these dark colors in, you know, it raises it to another level where, okay, I'm going to have to think about all the other lighter areas. How am I going to kind of bring everything up to a certain level of contrast? So this car over here, it's like this big. Just letting those blend in with each other. I'm just going to pretend that there's actually a few more cars down here. You see, everything is drying lighter too. So again, you just kind of have to dance around, figure out what things do I want to like focus on, what things do I want, what things am I okay with kind of just letting be as they are. Notice I'm not even worrying about the windows. I love this part, like getting to the darks. And yeah, it's really the most fun part for me. Just really, it helps to tie everything together. Yeah, I like this scene. All right, I think that's it. I may touch it up a little bit more later, but for the most part, there are things I could have kept doing. I could probably do the trees here on the right. I hope that was fun. I look forward to having you back here.